Sup creatures, only one Safke here, but you can call me Safke. Today I got a little Father's Day special in which I'll be telling you about something all dads seem to have up their sleeve for some reason. Dad lore. The craziest stories you hear usually come from dad lore, and I'll be telling you everything from what it is to where it could stop. So let's start off with that first thing. Dad lore is the concept of dads having the craziest stories from their youth that you'd never expect them to have. Let me give you an example, right? So imagine the average dad real quick. Needs his coffee to start his day, works a 9 to 5, doesn't really drink or go out. You know the type that's really all I need to say. Oh yeah, and don't forget the receding hairline. Now rewind back to when this dad was 18 and he was the coolest guy in school, going out every weekend, 20 girls on him at all times, getting into fights daily. Now go back to that stereotype. Brother, what the fuck happened in those years? I think you get the point of what dad lore is now, so let's go over how to gather it. So say you are in between the ages of like 14 to 28 and have friends, so I'd assume most of you. Then there's still hope. If you're younger than 14, there's no need to gather dad lore yet, and if you're older than 28, there's no hope anymore. Here's where your lore book ends, bro, I'm sorry. But here is Safke's ways to gather dad lore. Number 1, going out. When you go out, a lot of random stuff can happen. I've seen people strip at random ass parties people ask me to, which already makes for good stories to tell about how much random shit happens with drunk people. Number 2, don't be too nice or well behaved. This way you can tell stories that even your kid's grandmother will be able to confirm, and any teacher will be able to go, did I ever teach your dad, whenever they see your kid's last name on that class list. And if you're not being too nice, there's also the possibility of getting into fights, and this also makes for some good stories about how big old dad can fight like a beast. Number 3, don't be afraid to ask someone out. Sometimes dating brings about the greatest stories. Either your kids will be able to say that your dad was a bit of a playboy, or they'll be able to say that their dad has done some amazing funny things on dates that can make everyone laugh. And lastly, don't be too sober. The best stories come from trying alcohol or cigarettes or other things during your youth, and having experimented yourself makes it much easier to warn your children of these substances to stay away from. Oh, actually, I got one more honorable mention. Get lore with one friend and name that one friend uncle to your kids, and drop all the lore on them when they ask why he is uncle even though he isn't related, and end it with, that's why he's like a brother to me. But say you don't have enough dad lore yet, but you're about to be a dad, this is where you fake it till you make it. Just lie to your kids and tell them you're some kind of superhero by exaggerating. I once had a girlfriend who I had the most girls in the entire school, or by leaving parts away like I once won a fight against an ant to I once won a fight. You get the gist, right? You're not lying, just change the story a little bit to make your dad lore look a little better, so that your kids can flex that their dad is some better dad than all the other dads, or create some dad lore with your kids, telling them stories from when they were younger. I'm sure they'll love that too, okay? But listen, right, you can't just drop your dad lore on your kids all at once, because they will forget, while the whole thing about dad lore is that your kids have something to remember you by for the rest of their life. That's why you should bring up stories when they talk about something similar, so you can just wow them like my dad was like me when he was younger, or make them want to be like you. For example, say your kid tells you about them getting into a fight, just tell them you used to fight too, and bring up your craziest fighting story to leave their mouth agape right before you scold them for fighting, and tell them they shouldn't fight no matter how proud you are of your grown-up sperm cell. I think I've made this next point pretty obvious already, but who do you tell your dad lore? Of course, as I said throughout this entire video, your kids, but also your girlfriend or wife, to make them think you are some kind of macho man. Well, these are just random things that happen over time, but are still cool. Like in an earlier point, it all mattered how you phrase it and how chill you say it. If you confidently say you just shit your pants, you might get reactions like, damn, he's so tough, he doesn't care about social dilemmas. What a man, I wouldn't dare. I'm gonna have to hide my girlfriend after this. But if you do it without confidence, they will just laugh at you. However, results are not promised when you say you shit your pants. Now for this last part, I have a pretty important one. Will a girl ruin your dad lore? The short answer is maybe. The longer answer is that a girl could ruin your dad lore if she's not the one, because she will not let you create it with your friends, or she won't create it with you. But if you have a good girl, like me, she will literally help you create your dad lore, and you will create parent lore together for the future kids. So basically, the solid answer is no, a girl will not ruin your dad lore if you have the one. But as soon as she makes you a dad, that is where your dad lore sadly ends. And this is where this video ends. I hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you did, subscribe for more Safke, and leave your feedback in the comments. Have an amazing day, creatures. Bye bye.